Well, good morning and happy Friday. Right on. We made it through another week. Well, welcome to the Ultimate Morning Routine Workshop. I don't know about you guys, but it seems like some days, these mornings, they come pretty early, don't they? And, here it's getting pretty dark pretty early. And sometimes it can make getting up at an earlier hour that much more difficult. So I think that's all the more reason to establish and have an empowering morning routine, don't you think? For sure. But today we're going to do this workshop style. Okay. So if you guys have a pen and a paper handy, that'd be awesome. And as we go through some ideas, when things resonate with you or jump out at you or ding with you, I want you guys to write them down because we're going to come back to that later. And we're going to want to be able to jog our memory, refresh our memory as we go. Um, Also, yeah, I want this to be interactive, so feel free to like add comments or ask questions or be engaged with the material. This is about you and making sure that you set up a routine that supports you, your habits, your lifestyle, and your goals. I mean, as we're going to discover, there's like an infinite number of things that a person could do in the morning, and we're not going to try to do them all, but we do want to have some engagement from you guys and make sure that you're getting the most out of this. Sound cool? Right on. Well, you know, morning routines are a funny thing. We all have them, whether we realize it or not. We're creatures of habit. We all have morning routines. Now, how empowering they are might be up for debate. You know, if you're like most people, you tell me if any of this sounds familiar, but most people, the alarm goes off, they're hitting snooze, buying an extra few minutes, you know, when they finally decide to wake up, it's the first thing they're doing is reaching for their phone, checking either email, social media, text messages, that kind of thing. When we're talking about hitting the snooze button, here's the thing. Life is full of tests, isn't it? Some days there's more tests than others. Some days it's just one test after another. And I honestly think that if we're in the habit of hitting snooze first thing in the morning, that's like failing the first test of the day. Hard to feel good about that sometimes. I'm getting some guilty looks over here. Somebody knows what I'm talking about. But if you're like most people, we're starting the day hitting snooze, reaching for our phone. By the time we finally convince ourselves we have to get up, we kind of drag our ass out of bed, walk over to the coffee pot, grab a pot of or a cup of coffee, maybe a well or a pot, depending on the day, you know. But I think that with a few small tweaks, there's a couple of things that we could do that would significantly improve the quality of our morning. You know, that's most people's routine. Okay. But the most successful people in every walk of life are very intentional about how they start their day. And the reason is because, well, focused and productive mornings lead to focused and productive days, which inevitably leads to a focused and productive life. Right. Now, I'm curious. Uh, I want you to think about it right now, kind of like in a general sense. Write down how you feel when you wake up in the morning, when your eyes first open, or when you first start to wake up, or your alarm goes off. What are some of the things that you feel the first thing that you wake up? Are you rested? Are you ready to rock? Are you like, all right, let's do this? I know personally, there's been days where I've woken up, my alarm's gone off, and the first thing that's gone through my mind is like, oh man, I can't wait for a nap later. Anybody else ever at that time to time? Are you tired right from the jump? Are you exhausted? Are you stressed out? Are you worried? Anxious? resentful? Or are you filled with feelings of like joy and excitement and optimism? Now, take a second here and think about and write down how you want to feel in the morning when your alarm goes off or when you first open your eyes. What feelings do you want to experience?
You wrote on Wednesday?
Yeah, the 14th.
Who would like to share kind of what their current feelings or thoughts or emotions are versus what they'd like to experience first thing in the morning? Tamara.
So I am not usually bad at mornings. I just need a lot of sleep, but I am a morning person. I think as soon as I wake up, I don't actually set an alarm. So when I have to set an alarm, like days like today, I find myself hitting the snooze button. And I always pick my phone up when I get up.
First thing,
And
that's like automatically what your hand reaches for.
yeah, it's usually under my pillow, to be honest with you. I really failed at that no technology week that we did. So yeah, so I could work on that for sure. How I want to feel is rested. I find that sometimes I wake up and my muscles are really sore. So it'd probably be beneficial to do some stretching and everything when I get up. That would probably be a good idea. I want to feel rested and energized and excited for my day. Sometimes if I don't have something to look forward to, it's harder to get up. I still get up, but I do literally go right and make a coffee before I even do anything else. I drink the water first beside my bed, and then I go get the coffee.
That's good. Right on. Right on. Thanks, Tamara. Awesome. So let's take a second, make sure that you wrote that down, how you want to feel, and also the couple of things that you had mentioned there as far as like the no technology, and even that's a great idea to maybe do some light stretches in the morning, just feel your body, get moving a little bit, get some blood flow, some circulation. Yeah, that's great, Tamara. Who else would like to share kind of how they currently feel when they wake up or their alarm goes off versus how they like to feel?
I'm
Jamie?
similar to Tamara. Usually a morning person, but I don't have an alarm either. I just kind of get up, but it's usually 6:30, 7 o'clock anyways. I usually have those thoughts. I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. but I immediately switch them to positive so that I, excited to get up. The thing that makes me get up is the sound of the coffee maker. I'm like, oh yes, coffee.
Love it.
But yeah, there's lots of like grogginess, tiredness, a little bit of resentfulness because, if our 1-year-old was up multiple times in the night, then I'm like, I want to get up right now. The baby's up all night and kind of a little bit annoyed, but I switched that right away. But I want to feel ready to give her, happy, well-rested, excited, and energized. And I like that stretching idea too, because I'm pretty fragile in the morning. I guess I'm getting closer to 40.
That's awesome, Jamie. Well, that's the reason I encourage sharing. The reason I encourage sharing is because you never know where someone's at, and you never know what somebody needs to hear at that moment. And, we have lots of bright minds and, smart people on the call. And when you guys are sharing ideas, a lot of that stuff lands, and you never know who it's going to land with or what exactly they need to hear at that moment. So right on. I love that. And so say that again, Jamie. How do you want to feel in the morning?
Ready to give her.
Ready to give her. I love that. Awesome.
Well rested, excited, and energized.
Excited and energized. Beautiful. Awesome. Okay, we have time for one more if anybody else wants to share. Anybody else? Real quick here.
Well, when I wake up in the morning, I'm basically completely antisocial and want to get some music going and stuff like that. And it's basically get all my stuff ready, get the cats fed, get my lunch packed and everything, head over to the gym. And I'm usually just completely quiet with music going and everything until about set 3 or 4 at the gym. Then I start chatting with people and stuff like that, right? So it's once I start getting the blood flowing, then it's, okay, I'm up, let's go, right? So it's just kind of a matter of, it takes getting to that point in the morning. And as soon as I hit that point, then it's, okay, I'm ready for the day, right? So it's, for me, it's a matter of getting some energy moving, some blood flowing and stuff like that. And I find it makes a huge difference with how positive I am throughout the day. Like, it's night and day difference. Like, if I don't go to the gym in the morning, I'm basically the first 4 hours of my day, I'm just kind of quiet and wanting to listen to music and just kind of do my thing and stuff like that. And so I find I focus a lot better with the exercise in the morning.
I love it, Randy. You guys hear that? This guy's like a big old diesel engine. It takes a little bit of time to get warmed up and get going, but once he's going, man, look out. Oh, I love it. That's awesome. Well, Randy, I give you full props, man. It sounds like your mornings at the gym have been going really well lately. This guy messaged me yesterday. He says, hey, yeah, it's been another great week. It's like, Randy, they've all been great weeks for a little while now, haven't they? You're high vibing, buddy. I love it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's been making a huge difference just having that constant, consistent routine throughout the week. And obviously all my day-to-day stuff changes day-to-day basis and stuff, but starting the day with the gym, affirmations in the evening, reading those and stuff like that, and then just kind of my other few things that I have throughout the day for routine, it's been working. It's been doing me very well. So I mean, I got nothing to complain about.
Beautiful.
Especially these last couple months, it's been really driving my focus and stuff like that with career and with goals and stuff like that. So it's been good.
I love it, Randy. That's awesome, man. Well, and to his point there, he mentioned something that, the days that he doesn't have his morning routine, the days that he doesn't go to the gym, the days that it takes a little bit longer to get going. And I can absolutely relate. I realize that getting up and getting on these calls sometimes can be a little bit early, but I don't know about you guys, but I always feel a lot higher. I'm always high vibing. I'm revving a little higher, a little faster by the end. And it just sets me up on a trajectory for the rest of the day. You know what I mean? It's a very, very different feeling. The days I like to think sometimes that like sleeping in is nice and, you know, like it's getting a slow start to the day, but I find that I just carry that energy through the whole day and I just feel more kind of sluggish than anything, you know? So it's an interesting little observation, but I appreciate that, Randy. That's awesome. So I got a question for you guys. Okay. I want you guys to finish this sentence. Finish this sentence. The best morning routines start blank. The best morning routines start and fill in the blank. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. So, Randy, any guesses? What would you say? The best morning routines start.
The best morning routine starts getting your engine going.
Getting your engine going.
Basically what that means is, for me, it's not necessarily like just going to the gym, but also having like a good healthy breakfast and everything as well. Get yourself fueled for the day, feeling good right first thing in the morning. Like a lot of people have issues with eating breakfast in the morning, but like to me, I kind of feel like if I eat first thing in the morning, especially in wintertime, I have a lot more energy to burn off throughout the day, which means I stay like in winter, I stay warmer. Like I climatize to -40 like that. And it's awesome because people are like, how the hell are you outside still? Like I'm freezing. It's like, I don't know, it doesn't bother me, right? But it's me being used to working on the cold. But so between that and for me going to the gym, other people, I mean, would benefit from, you know, maybe doing some stretching or jog or something like that, right? Like whatever suits your lifestyle. But that'd be my big recommendation for people would be like get some food and you get a routine where it's, you know, you wake up every day, have a bite to eat, make sure you're not running on an empty stomach, you're not running on fumes first thing in the morning, and get some type of light exercise or exercise routine just to kind of start the blood flow for the day and everything. And by the time you hit work or you hit whatever you need to do,
it's all systems go.
Yeah, you're just ready to rock and roll, right?
Right on. So Randy says, get your engines going, get your systems operating here. Brett, any idea? How would you finish that sentence? The best morning routines start.
I'm pretty much the same way as Randy there. Like, I actually made an investment a few months ago. It's called a glow clock, and what it does is, so like I get up at 3:45 every day and go to the gym, but the clock I have set for 3:30, and it puts a warm light in the room, which is supposed to like mimic your circadian rhythm.
Cool, love it.
And I found that those mornings, and when I have my clock with me, sometimes I forget it at home or whatever, but when I have the alarm clock, like off my phone, I wake up and it's like, oh shit, time to get going. And then it's like, okay, no. Then I found like my whole day is rushed. So that simple investment of, you know, $120 has absolutely changed my mornings, and it puts me in a better mood for the whole day.
I love it. Especially as we're getting into, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, because I'm not starting my day off rushed. And
yeah,
like I don't start work till 6:30, but I'm up before 4 and go to the gym.
Totally. Yeah. I love that. So what's that called again? It's called a glow clock?
Yeah, it's a glow clock. And mine's got two different alarms on it. Well, alarms, you call it. But it puts a nice warm light. You can pick the light you want.
Cool.
And like I start with like nature sounds. So it's like, you know, birds chirping and that sort of thing.
Oh man, you're talking my language, dude.
Yeah, then the next alarm I have, or the next, we'll call it the alarm, I have it set for a little bit louder and it's like a little bit brighter of a light.
Yep.
And yeah, what a difference that makes.
Yeah, I bet. That's actually, it's very smart. I love that idea, especially as we get into these later fall and winter months and that sort of thing, where it can be difficult to wake up. It's easier when it's bright and sunny at 4 o'clock in the morning, the sun's up and the birds are chirping and that kind of thing. So the fact that you're able
Yeah.
to mimic that, Brett, I love that. That's a great idea. Yeah.
Well, it's like we've all been camping in a tent, and it's like, okay, I'm up at
Yeah.
5 o'clock because it's
Yeah.
starting to get bright out. The birds are chirping, and you know what? You're not a bag of shit all day, is because your body's waking up the way it's supposed to wake up.
Yeah. Yeah. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
It's like a biohacking thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. So that's awesome. Thanks, Brett. I appreciate that, man. There's a couple people on the call that I know would probably benefit from exactly those, one of those, myself included. So
Yeah, it's sweet.
So, Tamara, how would you finish that sentence? The best morning routines start
I wrote down moving my body,
moving your
So-
body.
just in some form, I guess, stretching, going for a walk. I find the days that I get up and take my dog out for 45 minutes or half hour, I feel more energy and I need less caffeine.
Yeah,
So
I've
if I
noticed that,
get
huh?
moving, I feel like that really starts my day better.
100%. Yeah, big difference, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah, just getting that blood flow, that circulation to your brain and to your body, it certainly wakes you up.
So I have a question, like,
Sure.
this could be just because I'm not used to it, but I find that if I do eat breakfast early or like first thing, I'm really like ready to go back to bed. I'm full, I'm happy. It's like I get like a little chill, like I want to go and crawl into bed and go have like a sleep. If I skip breakfast, I feel like I'm okay. Like I don't know how to, because I know it's not right, but
I don't know. I wouldn't say that. I mean, I think that everybody's a little bit different when it comes to that kind of thing. Different body types, different needs and that sort of thing. I think that there's also a case for, say, like intermittent fasting,
okay.
which would may or may not include like having a small meal at breakfast. I think it also, there's a lot of factors there. It might depend on what it is that you're eating. You know, if it's something like sweets or sugary or something that's like, you know, a cinnamon roll or something like that, like it's gonna it's gonna do, you know, a number on your kind of energy. But yeah, I think there's probably lots of factors there, and I think it's individual or unique to the individual.
Okay. All right.
So I'm, you know, I used to be big on breakfast. Then I used to be big on intermittent fasting. I think that you find something that works for you and it provides you with the most energy. And if it's working for you, I'd say keep it up.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Jamie, how would you finish that sentence?
Having me time, so that probably
Mm.
applies for being a mom, getting up before the
Mm.
kids, even the getting up before the animals, even though that's kind of hard. But it just seems like the moment we wake up, like everyone needs our attention. So waking up before the kids and having me time and starting with gratitude is big.
Oh, starting with gratitude. Okay. Yeah, that's and you notice that that's a significant change for you then, or different, makes a difference in your day.
Yeah, I even have a gratitude journal. So
Nice.
the first thing I
love it.
write in.
Awesome.
So during my me time, I journal, gratitude journal, and I read, and I do my affirmations with my coffee.
And you do your affirmations with your coffee. I love that. That sounds like a pretty empowering morning routine right there, doesn't it?
I love it. It actually makes me really excited to get up in the morning.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Good for you. Good for you. Well, I think those were all great answers. Brian's driving here, so I won't call on him. We don't need any distracted drivers on the road this morning. But I think those are all great answers. You guys are all right in your own sense. When I thought of that question, a different answer came to mind. My answer was that the best morning routines start the night before. Start the night before. And what I mean by that is that it's actually the things that we do in the evening have a huge impact on quality of sleep, not just quantity, but quality of sleep. And also those first few minutes of the day once we do wake up. You know, and there's a few things that I think about when I'm thinking about like trying to set myself up for success for the morning. You know, Brett mentioned yesterday on yesterday's call the book Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. And I haven't read the book, like I said, but I imagine that part of it's about like trying to set yourself up so that you're hitting green lights all day. You know, and I started thinking, well, what are some of the things that I can do to ensure when I wake up, my process, my habits, my routine are as seamless as possible. And some of them are things like, well, prepping my coffee for the morning, having that all kind of set and ready to go. Now, I don't know, like there might be some coffee people in the house and they might frown upon it. Like they like to like grind their coffee that morning and stuff and get it all like ready to go. And that's totally cool. I get that. But I'm more of it. For me, it's more of like, it's a consumption game. It's a little different, but I appreciate that nonetheless. But prepping my coffee is one thing I can do to ensure that I'm hitting green lights first thing in the morning. Another one is I put aside a big glass of tall lemon water. And I almost make a little like elixir concoction. I put a little bit of sea salt in there too for hydration. You know, some sea salt, some lemon and that kind of thing. This is an interesting fact. You know, did you guys know that the majority of heart attacks occur in men first thing in the morning, specifically on Monday mornings, interestingly enough? And the reason is because of a couple things. One is stress, getting up, going to work, grinding for 40 plus freaking years. Okay. The second is dehydration. If you think about it, our heart's a big giant muscle. And if we go all night without hydrating, right? And then we start the day with a big cup of Joe, right away, we're putting ourselves in a deficit again. So if we can start, like Tamara said, with a big glass of water, throw a couple vitamins and some minerals and stuff in there, we're just setting ourselves up for success. Rehydrating before we hit that coffee. You know, the other thing, you know, some people have mentioned before is things like laying out their clothes the night before, save themselves time in the morning. Maybe putting out their gym clothes and stuff so they can just grab it and go. But another one is planning my day in advance. You know, and this is something that Thomas mentioned on a couple of calls that he's been doing lately. And Jamie, maybe you can attest to this, but it sounds like he's really enjoying it and getting a lot out of it. And it's really had an impact on his day, has it not? Yeah, yeah. So did you guys know, interestingly enough, less than 1% of people plan their week in advance. Less than 1%. Now, coincidentally, less than 1% of people are living the life and the lifestyle that they really want. Coincidence? I think not. There's probably something to it, you know. But you know, I know that I mentioned to some of you guys I have a little thing that I've called the 4x4 strategy planner. And it's a little tool that I developed to help people kind of plan out their day and plan out their week to make sure that, you know, when they start their day, they hit the ground running. Now, I'll tell you, this tool has been a game changer for me. And I find that oftentimes, admittedly, I haven't used it the last couple of weeks, and maybe I should get back to that. But when I use that tool, I'm doing about a week's worth of work by Tuesday. It's like I can take the rest of the week off now. I think that that's pretty cool, you know? So I'm focused, I'm productive, I'm effective and efficient when I'm planning my day in advance. But I think that the biggest thing that comes up for me when I'm thinking about setting myself up for success and having my morning routine start the night before, I think the biggest game changer would probably be quality sleep. Now, I used to be a 5 a.m. club type of person. I was all about like, rise and grind kind of thing. Now, I've come to realize the error in my thinking. And I found that actually, when I prioritize sleep, that improves like every other major area of my life. It's like the number one life hack, people. Everybody's online looking at like, 3 ways to, be more effective and, all of these types of things. But getting quality and quantity sleep improves everything else. Improves my mood, improves my energy, improves my fitness, improves my creativity, improves my patience with my family, improves my problem solving, everything. It's like the number one life hack, and we all have access to it. So I'm curious, Tamara mentioned that she needs a lot of sleep. And I think that that's a good point. I think different people need different amounts of sleep. So what would be the optimal amount of sleep for each of you? Tamara, like what's like a restful night? How many hours?
Oh, I need my 8 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually get sick if I'm tired. If I'm run down, it's the first thing that happens is I get sick. And it feels wimpy. It's a really hard thing to have to like be like, no, I gotta go to bed. But physically, I don't do well. I've been like that my whole life. I don't think my mom had to wake up much with me in the night as a baby, and I could sleep at weddings and concerts and anywhere. Like I just sleep. So I don't think that's changed.
Yeah, that's personality type maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got Tamara for 8 hours. Yeah, I personally, I think I need about like 9. Like at 9 hours sleep, like I'm firing. But if I get less than that, like I can get away with it for a day or two maybe, but very similar to Tamara, I get pretty run down pretty quick, and it can lead to like physical illness. Like I really need that. And now, yeah, I used to think that, I'd be critical of myself for that, like Tamara's saying, but I just acknowledge it, and I just try to prioritize that and know that, hey, I just need a little bit more. That's all. It's not bad. So, who else? Jamie, what are your thoughts there? How much sleep is optimal for you?
I think my body just adjusted to being a mom.
Mm,
So I feel like 7 is my number.
7?
Yeah, I could go less. Sometimes if I oversleep, I get more tired.
Yeah, interesting.
So if I go like 9 hours of sleep, I'm like, whoa, what just happened? And it's really, really hard to open my eyes. And Tom and Janelle, on the other hand, though, if no one knows, they're brother and sisters, they need like 8 to 10 hours of sleep.
8 to 10, yeah. So they're right there with me. And Tamara.
Oh, they love their sleep.
Yeah, I love it. Randy, how about yourself? What's the optimal number of hours for you?
7 hours and I'm like 100%.
7 hours and you're firing.
7 hours. Yeah. Less than that, I get what we in the industry call Chinese syndrome. You drag your ass around all day. So dragging ass.
Yeah.
But so basically, apart from that, like I usually end up with one night through the week where I end up with like 5 to 6 hours of sleep, and it doesn't run me down necessarily, but that night it's like, okay, I'm getting 7 to 8 hours the next night, you know what I mean, just to kind of balance that out. I mean, there isn't really anything I can do about it, like that Krav Maga class, for example, that I was talking to you about. That runs, the only course available right now that runs for that is from 8 till 9:30 p.m.
Okay. Yeah.
So if it's 9:30 p.m. when I finish, then I don't get home till 10, right? By the time I wind down and actually get to sleep, it's like 10:30. Well, if I'm up at 3:45 for the gym, that's only 5 hours and 15 minutes of sleep, right? So it's one of like the sacrifice things, I guess you would call it. But yeah, so I usually end up with like a night like that where it's like just a really short sleep, but then I kind of balance it out through the rest of the week. But yeah, 7 hours is my magic number generally.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. 7 hours. So we've got a little bit different there. Now, here's the thing is that everybody's needs are going to be a little bit different when it comes to that. And I don't think it's like Tamara was saying, good or bad. It's just good to know, right? But when we're talking about setting ourselves up for success for the morning and having our morning routine start the night before, having some time to wind down. I don't know about you guys, but I noticed a big difference between watching TV until like 9:30 and 10, or like going to bed and reading for that extra like 15 or 20 minutes, as far as like winding down and the quality of sleep that leads to. But you guys want to know an interesting little fact? This is a study that was done. And this probably won't surprise many of you given our work together, but they demonstrated scientifically that you can actually prime your mind to wake up feeling rested, ready to rock, and refreshed and rejuvenated. And you do that by telling yourself the night before and deciding in advance how you want to feel in the morning. You can do that the night before. Tell yourself you want to wake up feeling rested, refreshed, rejuvenated, and ready to rock. And when you wake up, you're more likely to feel that way. This is the power of affirmations, and we've been talking about this for a while. But here's the thing. Sometimes people are dreading the thought of going to bed, dreading the thought of waking up. And it almost becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy when it's like, oh, I'm going to be so tired tomorrow morning. Well, of course you are, because that's what you're telling yourself and that's what you believe in. So even just something as simple as telling yourself before you go to bed, a nightly affirmation of, I'm going to have a great sleep. I'm going to wake up feeling rested, refreshed, and ready to rock, might do wonders for how you start your day. In addition to, prioritizing sleep and maybe planning your morning in advance and that kind of thing. So when your alarm finally goes off, or you finally roll over and you wake up in the morning, what are some of the things that you can do to ensure that you start with an empowering morning routine? Well, like I said, the list is infinite almost. I mean, there's thousands of things that we could do. So this isn't about trying to do them all, but this is about trying to find a routine or something that works well for you. Okay. Now, I'll share, from personal experience, a few of the things that I find work really well for me. And at the end, we'll have an opportunity to share some of all of our ideas. And what I'd like to do is pick a couple that really resonate with you. So if anything jumps out at you, or you think, oh yeah, maybe I should try that, I want you to write that down. We're going to come back to that at the end here. Okay. So the way that I look at it is like, the way that I start my morning is all about stacking small wins. Stacking small wins. And when it comes to wins, I say get them early and get them often. Get them early and get them often. And the reason is because, I for a long time was in the habit of starting my day, by hitting snooze, rolling over, dragging my ass out of bed. And I'll tell you guys, I probably wouldn't tell a lot of people this, but there were years where I would wake and bake first thing in the morning, where I was getting high first thing. And before I even had breakfast, that was my morning routine. Now, I don't know. Somehow I managed to get through school and didn't get fired from my job and stuff like that. But I wouldn't recommend that. That probably wasn't the smartest thing to do. Okay. Now, that probably set me up for what I would call somewhat of a downward spiral. They say that one healthy act begets another. It's like when you make one step in a positive direction, it makes it that much more likely to take another step and another step and another step in the same direction, doesn't it? You build momentum. You create inertia, Now, I, for a long time, was in a downward spiral, but it's quite possible, and it's just as possible to create that upward spiral. So my goal first thing in the morning is to just stack small wins. Get them early and get them often. Now, the habit that I've developed is before my eyes even open, saying a short little affirmation to myself. Now, I've experimented and played around with different affirmations. And if you've done affirmations before, you probably know that different ones resonate with you at different times. Now, this doesn't have to be anything long or detailed or too in-depth. Mine lately is just as simple as I'm healthy, I'm happy, I'm wealthy, I'm abundant, I'm joyful, and today is going to be a great day. And I just repeat that over and over. Today is going to be a great day. Today is going to be a great day. And the reason I say that all the time is because I truly believe that most people, Abe Lincoln said this, good old Abe, said that most people are about as happy as they make up their mind to be. Most people are about as happy as they make up their mind to be. And I think that that's true, you know? So right from the very start, I just decide that I'm going to have a good day. Most people, they wake up and, you know, they kind of wait to see what happens that morning or that day to figure out, well, is today going to be a good day or is today going to be a bad day? I don't know. We'll wait and find out. Well, no, I think that's BS. You know, wake up, decide that you're going to have a good day, and then go about ensuring that that's what happens. A good day really only comes down to doing a few simple things. So don't leave that kind of thing up to chance, you know? Now, each of you wrote down how you wanted to feel first thing in the morning, right? So maybe that's your affirmation. Today, I feel like, what was yours again, Tamara?
Excited for the day, energized, relaxed, and rested.
Right on. So maybe that's just a small little mantra or affirmation. Today, I'm excited to start the day. I'm relaxed and I'm energized, you know, and just repeating that to yourself over and over and over and over again. That's powerful stuff. You know, there's a book called The Power of Habit. It's a very influential book. I'm not even sure when it was written per se, but in that book, they identified three keystone habits that had the ability to bleed out into every other area of your life. And they said that if you're doing these three things, that your likelihood of being happy, successful, fulfilled, go through the roof. Okay. And the three things were: make your bed, have family dinner each night. Actually, I'm not even sure if it was each night, but have dinner as a family, and exercise at least once a week. They found that even once a week was enough to improve your health, improve your mood, to improve your life. Now, I can attest from personal experience that exercise was a catalyst for me to start to take on some other bigger challenges that I had in my life at the time. It gave me the energy, it improved my confidence, improved my attitude, and allowed me to start to make some other improvements in my life. But it started with exercise. Now, making your bed, some of you have probably seen that little video by the Navy SEAL, that military sergeant or whatever. You know, if you want to change the world, start by making your bed. And I think that that's really true. You know, there's something to that. And if anybody's interested, I'll post a little video. I think that it's a pretty good reminder. But something as simple as making your bed, again, sort of the same sort of thing there. It's just stacking another small win. You know, I follow that up with a shower. Now, I've gotten into the habit of finishing my showers on cold. Now, there's all sorts of science behind the health benefits of doing that. Okay. And I'm sure that there are, I don't question that at all, but I don't even do it for the health benefits. I really don't. The reason I turn my shower to cold to finish, well, it's not because I'm entirely crazy. I see the look Brett's given me. It's not because I'm crazy. It's because I want to do what's called mind control. And Brian will be familiar with Jocko Willings, and I was trying to remember the name of his book, his most recent book. But Jocko Willings talks about the importance of mind control, being able to control what's going on in your mind. And when I say I want to do so, when I say do something, I want my body to respond. I used to have these conversations with myself. Oh, should I work out? Shouldn't I work out? And, I'd kind of like procrastinate and delay. Oh, fuck. I'd clean my entire house before I'd go do a workout. I was just, having these conversations. I know I should, like, I just don't really want to. And, I find all these different ways to stall. Right. And then I started realizing, who the hell am I talking to? What am I doing? Just do the damn thing. Now, here's the thing. Our days and our life can be filled with, like I said, tests. But it's oftentimes it's required that we do difficult things in life, isn't it? For sure. Now, I find that it's a lot easier if we're in the habit of doing difficult things willingly. Life becomes a little bit easier when we're in the habit of doing difficult things willingly. And I find that turning the shower to cold is just one way of me being like, well, who's running the show here anyway? Is it my mind telling me to, be comfortable and crawl back into bed? Or is it me? So it's another little test, a test for the day. Okay. And then, I hop out of the shower, I dry off, towel off, and I pop some vitamins first thing in the morning. Have some water, like that lemon water I was telling you about, and I pop some vitamins. Now, here's the thing. I'll be real honest with you. Like, I don't even know if they do anything. I really don't. Like, some people tell me that, like the vitamins that you get from Costco and stuff like that, they just go through your system. I don't really know if any of them absorbs, but I'll tell you, what does happen is I get a psychological edge from stacking another small win. And if you think about it, like, I've been up for 10 minutes, I've done an affirmation, I've made my bed, I've had a cold shower, I've drank some water, and I've had some vitamins. I've been up for 10 minutes and I've got 5 small wins. Talk about the upward spiral. And I just think about the, compound effect of doing some of those small things. Like maybe vitamins aren't all that big of a deal. I know that in Canada, and particularly people who struggle with SAD, like that seasonal affective disorder, like I do to a certain extent, would benefit from, like Brett's saying, his glow clock, or taking some vitamin D in the morning, helping with that. But I think that even if it has a small effect, over time, that small effect will have a tendency to add up. So those are a few things that I do to start my morning routine. But what are some other things that you guys either could do or would do or have heard about? I heard Jamie say gratitude. I know a big one that Jamie's been talking about lately is journaling. Randy said music. I'll tell you, that's a vibration lifter. That's a mood booster. I love starting my day with a little bit of music. It gets me moving a little bit, gets me grooving. What are some other things that you could do? Brett?
Hey, Matt, what's that, those 4 questions, the list you gave me? I do that every morning, and I found that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, so one of the most powerful things that I was in the habit of doing was setting my intentions for the day. And this kind of aligns with an affirmation statement, so to speak, but it's asking myself, like, 4 questions, like Brett was saying. Okay, who do I want to be today? How do I want to show up for the people in my life? Here's the thing. We all wear different hats. We all have a tendency to present different sides of ourselves depending on who we're spending time with, don't we? I mean, you're going to be a slightly different version of you when you're around grandma than you are when you're with your, best friends. So my first question is, who do I want to be today? And deciding how you want to show up, what kind of energy you want to put out into the world. Do you want to be confident? Do you want to be a leader? Do you want to stand tall? Do you want to command the attention of a room? Okay, the second question is, how do I want to feel today? How do I want to feel? Do I want to feel energized, optimistic, excited, confident? The third question is, what do I want to give today? What do I want to give? Now, that's a good question because it doesn't need to be anything material or monetary. Just something like, your undivided attention to your family. Oof. That's a tough one, eh? Or maybe it's just give, encouragement to your coworkers. What do I want to give today? And the last question is, what do I want to receive today? What do I want to receive today? It says, seek and you shall find. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be answered. Ask and you shall receive. Jamie right now is doing a book called E Squared. And in it, it talks about hey, the world is at our disposal. And really all we need to do, like in the movie The Secret that we watched, the world's like a genie. We just need to ask. And if you're willing to do that, be ready and willing to receive. So, yeah, that's a great one, Brett. Starting with intentions. Brett also mentioned starting with sunlight. Starting your day with sunlight, like Tamara said, getting outside, going for a little walk. Anything else come to people's minds? Something that you could do or would do?
Text me of what he would wanted to say in this group, and he said, tell them shower first thing to get the muscles unstiff, and singing or humming in the morning.
Oh, singing or humming. I love that. Yeah. If you were here, I'd ask him why singing or humming, or what does that do?
Probably, I would say the vibrations.
Yeah.
Positive vibrations.
Yeah.
Good vibrations.
Good vibes. Right on. I love that. Yeah, you're right. The good vibrations. Yeah. Yeah. From the inside out.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. Yeah. So, if you wrote any of those ideas down, you might have a long list of, not necessarily a to-do list, but things that you could do, right? Now, I mentioned on yesterday's call that I think that oftentimes, people it's not uncommon for people to have to-do lists, but I think sometimes people need do not do lists, like things that they shouldn't do, things that they should avoid doing. And right at the top of that list, I would say, do not touch your phone for the first 30 minutes. At least 30 minutes. And the reason is because if right away, the first thing you do is open your phone and look to what you're doing is you're opening up your mind, you're opening up your emotions to reacting to whatever it is that you read or see, and you're allowing that to start to plant seeds in your mind right away. If it's your email or if it's text messages, right away, you're having to force yourself to react to somebody else's wants or needs or demands.
I experienced that yesterday morning.
Okay, how so?
It wasn't me, it was Dave.
Okay.
And then he started my day bad.
Yeah. The ripple effect, huh?
Yes. He's on his phone at 5 a.m, looking at cameras of work. and he sees someone doing something without PPE and he's like mad. I'm like, put your phone away.
Yeah.
But that's something I'm gonna mention to him, I think.
Yeah.
That makes a difference.
Well, yeah, you're absolutely right. And here's the thing, our subconscious mind is so susceptible to suggestion at those first few minutes of the day, and at the end of the day, the last few minutes. Remember, anytime you hear subconscious mind, you can replace that with your emotional mind. So anytime we're susceptible to suggestion like that first thing in the morning, we're more likely to have an emotional trigger or an emotional reaction to what we see, what we hear, what we read, or what we observe. So we're opening ourselves up to having other people at the control of our emotions if we allow them to access to our mind right away like that. Never mind distraction. I mean, distraction is like the #1 game being played these days. You know, and if you start right away looking at Instagram, or YouTube or Reels and stuff like that, that's just like a black hole, isn't it? Yeah. So here's the thing. We've got a list now of things that we could do to improve our morning routine, to have a more empowering routine, to set ourselves up for success. Now, some of them you guys are already doing, which is great. Okay. Now, could we make a few small tweaks to improve them? Probably. But here's the thing. One of the biggest mistakes that I see people make is they do a couple of things. Oftentimes, they try to change everything all at once. Where, they're going to cut out sugar, they're going to start exercising, they're going to journal and meditate, and they're going to do all of it starting today. Okay, so the first mistake that I see people make over and over and over again is they try to change everything all at once. The second mistake that I see people make is that they take on too much too soon. They take on too much too soon. Like they haven't exercised for 6 months or more. It's like all of a sudden they're going to be going to the gym every day, 5 days a week. I'm going to the gym. Well, I know you say that, but normally what happens is people either get injured, they're overtrained, so they kind of, work themselves into a hole, or they get discouraged because the amount of effort that they're putting in doesn't match the results that they're getting. And they're like, well, I should be seeing better results. I've been doing this for a whole week, People are funny. And the other thing that people do is that it's an all or nothing attitude. The other mistake that people make is making it or having an all or nothing attitude. And so when it comes to something like this, my suggestion, okay, would be to look back at our list, review what we wrote down, and pick like 1 or maybe 2 max of things that you would like to incorporate either into your evening routine or into your morning routine. Just 1, maybe 2 max. And starting with the smallest increment of that. James Clear from Atomic Habits talks about the importance of you can't optimize a habit until you establish the habit. And so if that means meditating, maybe starting with like 1 or 2 minutes to begin with. And it sounds ridiculous, but it's like, set yourself up for success. Set a metric where you can't fail. Like if you're going to start flossing your teeth, like Tamara was talking about, like start with flossing 1 tooth. Or if you're going to work out, don't try to do an hour a day for 5 days a week. Like start with like 15 minutes. That's doable. In fact, he even says it's smaller than that. James Clear talks about the 2-minute rule. The 2-minute rule, and you should be able to, a good habit when you're first starting, you should be able to accomplish within 2 minutes. So looking back at your list, is there anything that jumps out at you that you think, yeah, you know what, this is important, I'm going to give that a shot? What would one thing be that you'd be willing to either try or commit to? Jamie?
I like the stretching because I've always wanted to exercise in the morning. But it takes a couple hours to do that. So I feel like stretching is at least something, it's not intense or anything, but it gets the blood flowing and the muscles moving. So I think that one is the one I would choose, and setting an alarm.
Well, I like the stretching idea. I think that's great. Yeah. What a nice way to start the day.
Mhm.
A little bit of movement, connecting with your body, yourself. It's awesome. Okay. So you willing to like circle that or star that or write that down and commit to doing that?
Yeah, I already did.
Okay, beautiful. I love it. Tamara, how about yourself? Anything that jumps out of you or
Yeah, I think that would be mine too. I really
the
like the
stretching?
idea. I've done
Nice.
it before and it feels really good. And if you're familiar with like the warrior stance, that makes you feel like you're doing something good.
Yeah, it does.
Try
Hey?
that. I love it.
It's not easy, is it?
No,
Yeah.
it's
Awesome.
good.
So is that like, are you talking a little bit of like yoga then?
Yeah,
Cool. Cool.
yeah.
Awesome. How about Brett? Anything that jumps out of you there, Brett?
Well, a really easy one, and you're talking about how words are things earlier. One
Yes.
thing I started doing is I stopped referring to it as an alarm clock, and now it's an opportunity clock.
Oh, I like
Because
that.
alarms
Yeah,
are bad and opportunities are good.
that's cool. Yeah, alarms are never a good thing. Hey, your fire alarm goes off. It's like, oh, this is not good. An alarm
You
goes
can call
off in a
that a fire
building.
alarm. It's not really a fire opportunity, but
Yeah. No, I know. I like that. An opportunity clock. Oh, Brett, that's good, man. I like the way your mind works, man. Cool. So the other powerful tool or technique that jumps out at me when it comes to things like this and establishing new habits or routines is what James Clear calls habit stacking. And habit stacking, some of you are probably familiar with, is the technique of taking a new habit that you'd like to establish and stacking it on top of an already established habit. So how can you pair something like stretching or something like yoga to an already established habit? What's something that you can do that you can capitalize on and make it more likely that you follow through on? Any ideas?
Stepping out of the bed onto your yoga mat.
Oh, so laying your yoga mat like right on the floor beside your bed at night.
First thing that you touch in the morning.
Oh, that's a great idea. You literally got to like walk across it to get out of
You're
bed.
like, wow, frick, I'm here. May as well
I'm
do
here.
it.
Yeah, I'm already barefoot. I love it. That's a great idea. Yeah. Anything else, or are we going with that one?
I don't know, but obviously setting everything up the night before. I don't know. For habit stacking, I am not sure. That's the first thing that just popped into my mind.
Yeah, I love that. I think that that's great. Let's do it, hey? And the last little thing here when it comes to establishing a new habit or routine like that is, of course, accountability.
Mm.
And I think that that's one of the biggest and most powerful things, isn't it? So you guys willing to help hold each other accountable to some of these habits and these routines and this little activity?
Mhm.
So for the next 30 days, minimum, saying starting our day with some light activity, some light exercise, some light stretching, a little bit of yoga or stretching, something like that. Yeah. See some bobbing heads. Right on. Cool. Well, I love it. Well, I think that that's an absolutely great idea. So Any questions or any comments or anything else that anybody would like to add here before I let you guys run? I know I realize we went a couple minutes over time here. Well, when's this new habit gonna start? When's this new I mean, tomorrow's Saturday, so do we start on a Saturday or do we wait till like the start of a new week?
Saturday for sure.
Saturday for sure, says Jamie. Cool. Right on, you guys. Well, if you guys are up for it, maybe even just using our group chat as part of that, a little accountability like Tamara's been doing, and see how that goes as far as checking in with each other, holding each other accountable, and sharing when we're hitting those milestones. Sound cool? Right on. Well, like I said, you know, I know that these mornings can come a little bit early, and the later in the year that it gets, the darker it becomes and the harder it can be to wake up. But like I said, I always appreciate starting my day with you guys, and there's no better way in my mind. So it's been great to see you, great to connect. Thanks for spending your morning with me here today. This has been an idea that I've had for a little while, and the opportunity to manifest this with you guys has been awesome. So I appreciate your willingness and your involvement, your contributions. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Happy Friday. Have a kick-ass weekend and get out there and be awesome. Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.